We are now doing section 5. In section 5, we want to understand list. So I have all these questions, like when my wife asks me to go out and buy, she gives me a list of things to buy. So she write to me like sugar, milk. Sometimes it's a list. Uh, that's good, but there was a problem with that. I used to sometimes not buy something. I used to add or delete something in the list. I would scribble things off. Like I would scribble off things that I was not able to find or something like that. And I used to come back with less stuff. So she used to tell me, no, I don't care. Get all the stuff that I asked you. So that's one feature that we want to have in the list. And the other feature was sometimes my wife does not know what I call these stuff in English. So she would write me a Hindi word and an English word, both, so that I go there and I don't know what that word means. I look in Hindi, and in Hindi I'll know what it looks like, so I can verify. So to come up to a solution for this question, we have list, tuple, and dictionary. In list, you can have multiple elements, but you can change any element. So I can cross out milk and add something new, which she does not want because she wants me to follow her orders verbatim. So we have tuples, which you cannot change. Therefore, tuples are called immutable, and list is called mutable. Mutation means a change. So list is mutable, and tuples are not mutable. Now there could be a list inside list. She could tell me that in sweets, buy these 4 sweets in a list. So there could be a list inside a list, a tuple inside a tuple, a dictionary inside a dictionary. And a dictionary is key value. So let's start with the first one, which is what's going to happen if we write dot split. So we are going to create a new file, Python 3.6, and we are in section 5. So I'm going to write section 5. Let's copy this code. So if I say that stuff is equal to please buy me these things, what is words? So words got split and it's now into a list. So dot split is called string function. We already did this in the string chapter, and the whole idea is to make you hear these words again and again from different angles in different chapters. So that was breaking it down. Let's see a list, which is a list inside a list. I told you the programmers love this idea, dream inside a dream, list inside a list. They are also saying that this world is a simulation inside a simulation inside a simulation. So that's a very interesting theory. You should Google that out, the simulation hypothesis. So we have a list, and the third element of this list is 4, 5, which is another list. So in list, the first element is 0, then we have 1, and then we have 2. So if I want to access 4, 5, I have to write list 2. What's going to happen if I write 0? If I write 0, then it made the first element as 3, 4. If I write this as 1, then it's going to make the second element also 3, 4. And it's redefining the list all the time. So this is called mutation or changing, or even you can call it assigning. So whatever you call it, it means that you can change the numbers. Now there is an interesting thing that happens. If you copy something versus you write A equal to B, both are different stuff. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. Now there are two kind of relationship when you have a twin brother. Either you could be a copy of the twin brother, or you could be two persons with the same soul, which means that if one feels pain, the other also feels pain. So when you copy something, you are not with the same soul. Then when you append with one, you don't append it with B. But if you become equal to something, then whatever change happened to the other, you also face it. So when I say A equal to 1, 2, 3, and I say B equal to A dot copy, B is a copy of A. So when I append something in A, it does not get reflected in B. B is just a copy. On the contrary, I can make them as two people with one soul. In that case, whatever change happens in one is going to happen with the other. So then if I don't use dot copy, Whatever change happens with A is reflected in B. So it's the idea of twin brothers, two people with one soul. So we use dot copy. If we don't do dot copy, then it's a problem. So that is one part. Then we have is iterable. It checks if something is iterable. Like a list is iterable, a tuple is iterable. If it's not iterable, it gives a false. This is a function with try except error. Okay, I'm not going deeper inside that right now. Now we have difference between two equal to. So one equal to is assignment, and two equal to is to check whether both things are equal or not. And we have is. So let's understand is and two equal to. So I'm copying the code, and we would always learn things by writing it out rather than saying. Okay, let's see. If I say a equal to 1 comma 3 comma 3 and I say b equal to a, so it's like twin brothers with the same soul. And I say c is equal to list of a, and then I ask is a is b, the answer is c. Okay, then I ask is a as c, the answer is false because we just copied it, we just created a list. But how does c looks like? C looks like a, but it is not a because they are not two brothers with the same soul. But is a equal to c? Yes, the values are equal, but they are not the same soul. It's not like when you make a change in a, it's get reflected in b. So this is an interesting part. Just think over it. It's I mean, you don't need to remember what we have to do to get it done. You need to make sure that you understand the idea. Idea that two things could be a twin brother, and you can have copy or twin brother. So that's the whole thing that I want you to keep in mind. How to do it? It's not a problem. So you can create a list out of anything, whatever you get. List range 10 is a way to create a list from a range command. So it goes all the way from 0 to 9. So that's a list command. And the other part is, the last and the final part of this lecture is how do you extend a list or add a list. So we have a list, and what's going to happen if I write a plus sign to that? So if I have two lists and write a plus sign and I want to see what is inside, I see that two lists got added. So it's a list inside a list. What would the next command do? It's going to go to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and give me 0, 1. So it's going to give me 3. So it's a list inside a list and the count start with 0. Let's do the next part, which is extend. Let's see how that behaves. So if I say x equal to 4 none foo and I say extend this, what would happen to x? It becomes the same. It was extended by 787 just like this was. So no difference whether you use extend or whether you use a plus to have two lists. So that's it for this lecture.